We're all familiar with Google Doodles, those neat little things that sometimes replace the logo on the Google homepage to celebrate special events. Those are always nice. They're a fun little twist when you go into Google and see a nice bit of artwork instead of the normal dull Google logo. And they're very useful if, like me, you can't remember dates to save your life. I can't tell you how many times I've gone onto Google in the morning only to realize it's Mother's Day and I've completely forgotten, so I have to rush to quickly call my mother and order some flowers and chocolates last minute. Google's useful for that. And lately they have been becoming more interactive with little animations or small mini games instead of just a static picture. I wrote recipe instead of picture here for some reason. Don't know why I did that. Might have just been hungry when I wrote this. Given that for most big events they do this, it was obvious that they were going to make one for the Olympics. The Olympics! Created by the ancient Greeks in 776 BC to honor Big Daddy Zeus himself, and was held to discover who among them could run the fastest and throw heavy things the furthest. A tradition we have all upheld, and every 4 years we still gather to celebrate our speedy runners and heavy thing throwers. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Olympics.
I am shocked! Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
And my already weak interest wasn't helped when the Olympics got cancelled after the dumpster fire that was 2020. They have been doing a lot to try hype it up and promote it again, but my interest just sort of disappeared. But personally, between being cancelled once already and not having any spectators due to our old friend, the virus, the whole event seems a little bit pointless and not worth the effort to me. But given that I wasn't a big fan of the Olympics to start with, you can take that with a grain of salt. Speaking of effort, and trying desperately to bring this back to the subject at hand, Google put a weird amount of effort into the Doodle for the 2020 Olympics, which is weird. Weird is a good description for this. I woke up this morning after a weird dream about peanuts growing out of people's exposed brains, and determined to discover where peanuts actually come from. They grow on the ground like tiny hard potatoes, in case you were curious. I went off to Google and I was greeted by this, the button pulsing, seemingly desperate to be pushed, luring me in. I was expecting a small animation or a quick game, similar to the other doodles in the past. Instead, what I got was a minute-long animation in this watercolor-esque anime style, which I was not ready for that early in the morning, and I was even more surprised when that animation ended and led into a game. Google, is everything okay? What's going on? Why did you put so much effort into a doodle for one of the least anticipated Olympic Games? The game involves arriving on Champion Island to compete in the age-old test of running fast and throwing heavy things in 7 classic Olympic events: running along a crab-infested beach, which is by far the worst of all of them, rugby against giant Oni-like demons, climbing a mountain while a giant owl tries to knock you off with snowballs, a synchronized swimming, dancing kind of game, which I was terrible at, ping pong against someone who clearly doesn't know how to play ping pong, archery against fans in a river, and the greatest Olympic sport in the world, skateboarding. The games are okay. Not great, but not terrible. Decent fun and short enough not to overstay their welcome. After you beat each game, you're given a scroll by the previous champion, and once you gather all 7 scrolls, you get another short animation where a giant magic cherry tree springs forth, making me wonder why all the old champions never just put all the scrolls together themselves so the big tree magic would happen. All in all, it takes about 20 minutes to beat the game, although there wasn't an entire trophy room, and even after beating the whole game I hadn't earned a single trophy, So there could be a lot more content to play around with if you're the kind of person that likes looking for Easter eggs or 100%ing a game. Although the reason I didn't earn any trophies could be because I didn't join any of the teams, because fuck all those guys, I refuse. I don't know, the game was fun and a neat little surprise, but it feels a weird choice. A weird amount of effort went into it, a weird mix of events. But maybe that's the perfect fit for the Olympics from the weird year that was 2020.